is, I've avoided roosterteeth and like Rwby type stuff. I only talk about it like a tiny bit with a select few of people. I've taken a complete break from it because honestly, I started to realize being part of the community is more of a headache and more stressful. Like, it's not enjoyable to be part of the Rwby or roosterteeth community because a lot of the roosterteeth point of view is either shoved down your throat, like they're the extremist version of their point of view, or I just don't agree with it in general. And the Rwby fandom, like, no matter which side you're on, it doesn't matter which side you're on, it's fucking hell. And it's amazing watching people who are like, can't we all just get along? Because they're the biggest hypocrites in the fandom. Because they're the ones that are trying to say, can't we all just get along, but you have to do shit our way. So it's like they're forcing their agenda down your throat in order to create peace. So yeah, I took a big break from it. Haven't been watching Achievement Hunter, haven't been watching Funhouse. I've been enjoying, I've gone back to what I love. My channel on YouTube that I put a few videos on, it goes on the name Anime's Art. I love anime. I've gone back to just enjoying anime. And to prove I just don't shit on Rwby, I shit on the fucking Game of Thrones. Attack on Titan as an anime. Season 3 is the current Attack on Titan series. Attack on Titan took a shit on Game of Thrones. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful show. I'm enjoying that right now. What was it? I got into the Saga of Tanya the Evil, which apparently came out in 2017, and I just put it off for a while. And someone sent me a tweet saying they were going to see the movie of it at the cinemas, and I thought, anything that's, you know, getting a movie release in English box office, you know, must be good. And people were like, if you like Attack on Titan, you like the gruesome reality, you're gonna like that. And I am. I think the Saga of Tanya the Evil is gonna go down as one of my favorite anime I've probably seen in the last decade. I love Tanya as a freaking character. And Tanya is both a man and a female, because she's a 12-year-old little girl, but she's a reincarnated businessman from Japan. It's so weird. But basically what this video was I've had a few thoughts here and there on what like should be the theme music of Volume 7, about like expectations and predictions, which after having a break from Rwby, my expectations for Volume 7 are like non-existent. Nothing crwby could produce is going to surprise me now. They're so low. I'm just like, when they fuck up, and they will, I just don't care. I don't fucking care. I'm at the point with entertainment that if it fucks up, I just don't give a fuck. I'm gonna praise something if it's good. I'll go on about it if it's great. But if it comes out and it's shit, I think the most foolish people are the ones in the fandom trying to convince us that it's average. Like, are you that addicted to being in Roosterteeth's safe space that you're scared to venture out? But anyway, concerning expectations, yeah, non-existent. Predictions, I can't stop making them. Because I can't stop thinking. I've got that mindset where I'm always thinking. And Rwby is very unique. It's not unique, that. It's because it says it's anime inspired. Early on, I think it was around season 3, they started to cop criticism that they were copying other anime, like full on ripping off plagiarism type shit. I was one of the ones that called them out. Like, some of the stuff was so copied black and white to the point where you couldn't tell the friggin' difference. And I was just like, you know, there's a difference between inspired and plagiarism. And that's what the fandom did. The fandom somehow thought anime inspired was a nice neutral ground for everyone to get along with. Otherwise known as, let's turn a blind eye to what they're doing and just enjoy this mediocre crap. That's how the fandom, I think, was viewing a lot of things at the time. But prediction-wise, I had a few other predictions based on several different things. Based on gaming and anime inspiration, and one I just got walking home. I was listening to the song Cities in Dust, and I was just like, one thing you should notice, I don't like the anthologies. I despise the Rwby anthologies because you can't tell if they're canon or not canon. Crwby refuses to actually turn around and say, yes, they're 100% canon. Instead, they're saying parts of them are. And us, the fan, we can't turn around and turn each page and go, is this canon? Is this canon? Is this canon? Is this... They're not going to answer every single point. So you end up with fan fiction. This isn't the shonen Rwby manga that's currently coming out, which I think is on its 5th or 6th chapter right now. Now, this is the original one that was brought out, and I like this. I wish they never cancelled this. When this came out, I was hyped. I was willing to drop Rwby and just read the manga when this came out. But given that we're going to Atlas, I was like, the one thing going through my head with Rwby, because I was going over the saga of Tanya the Evil and all the different countries in that world, all the different technology, how they balance it out, how they balance out the magic rules, how it is kind of a copy of our world during World War II, the inspiration. I was considering all that, and then I thought with going to Atlas is like, how are you going to balance out the Grimm forces and the Elysian forces? Like, is Roosterteeth / crwby capable of sitting down in a room with their developers and their designers and being like, we already know what the battleships look like, we should consider how many main weapons are on these things, do these battleships have shields, why didn't these things have shields in Volume 3, all this stuff has to pop up. Your world building, you got to, and if you're having an action fight, you got to justify all the weapons that are taking part in your weapon. You don't just have shit, because that just tells us you're fucking lazy. And I know we're going to see shield generators, hard light shield generators. They're never going to explain to us how hard light works, and they don't have to. They're just shields. Got battle cruisers. We've seen different types of flying ships. I think they're just going to go with the mass-produced ones that we saw in Volume 6. We're not going to see the ones from Volume 3 that had the minigun, Volume 2 that had the miniguns on them. I think we'll see Elysian Knights and Dreadnoughts to some degree. I think Solaris will have a secret weapon. This is the heart of Solaris, the home of all Elysian tech. They're going to have something badass here that's going to make the Volume 6 mech look like a pile of shit. But the thing that popped up to me as an idea that I'm trying to get across is actually in here, is in the show. It's never really been looked upon. They've never had the opportunity. I'll show it to you here. This is basically the early part of it where it's showing us the white trailer. That's what the knight looks like in the original manga. It looks grotesque and it looks scary as shit. Because what it basically is Elysian scientists are capturing the possessive type Grimm. Somehow they're capturing them. They've got a huge knight piece of armor, and then they've used whatever scientific means that they have to put the Grim and bond them to the armor. In that sense, I think they're trying to weaponize the Grim. It's like, how can we use the Grim to fight Grim? So, because that fits the Elysian mindset. It's like, oh, we want to use robots because we don't want to use humans. We don't want to put humans on the front lines. It's what Whitley said. Why, if you've got an army, why do you have to have these, superhero soldiers on the front lines? You can just use the robots. In this sense, let's use the Grim to fight Grim if we can. So I thought that would be an interesting thing to see in Atlas, is more different types of Grim. Even if they just get wise and be like, you remember when you killed the knight? And Wise has some flashback and goes, yeah. Well, we've got like 10 other bonded friggin' things. All different things bonded. Like, what if a dreadnought has like 10 of the possessive thing bonded to a dreadnought? And Weiss goes over and kills the dreadnought, and now she's able to summon this Grim dreadnought. Gotta think of shit like that. Weaponized Grim would be an awesome thing to see, and hibernizing the Grim Elysian tech is kind of like the one thing Watts can't hack. Watts can hack the Elysian robotic knights. He can't hack Grim stuff. He's interested in that type of stuff, as we've seen in the past. And it would be, a big plot twist if he's been fucking around with Elysian tech and Grim stuff. That would be interesting. The other thing I was thinking, and this could give Jean a role to do, because God knows what the friggin'... Let's just face it, Ren and Nora shouldn't even be in Atlas. They have zero role. They have zero thing to do. They could probably mess around with Ren's semblance, but Jean's one here is the big one because it's an amplifier. It's a booster, necessarily. And if the Elysians can somehow harness technology where you can keep your aura alive longer through dust, because let's face it, they're the professionals of dust. They screw around with dust every chance they get. And imagine if they have, like, Jean sit in some form of chair, he's strapped to it, there's like needles injected into him, some kind of weird thing on his head, and it's literally dust being fed into Jean, and they're like, now amplify your semblance, and he amplifies his semblance to everyone, that may be around him with the machine's help, and it never stops boosting their other people's semblance. As long as they have dust reserves to power the chair, and as long as the dust is flowing into Jean, the semblance is boosting other people. Think of different shit like that. Like, the reason I'm thinking up shit like this is stuff, if the show was on TV and it popped up, even if I've thought of it already, if I saw it in the show, it's not that I'd be taking advantage, I'd just be amazed. This is stuff, I reckon, that would amaze people if they legit saw it on TV. It's like, you gotta have justifications for why certain shit happens. Right now, I'm at a bit of a standstill over, like, with the Elysian battle cruisers. I would want them to have shields. It makes sense that they do have shields. It's just, with the way Rwby's gone, Volume 3, we've seen Elysian battle cruisers. They didn't have shields. You could say they got hacked, and maybe that's why the shields were down, that usually they do have shields. But then, are you saying the one that Roman Torchwick was on, which was controlling everything, it didn't have friggin' shields? Grim were landing on that friggin' thing. Rwby landed on that friggin' thing. So it's like, the consistency even with technology in this show, and you can't say shield technology's just been created now. Get stuffed. The other one that I wanted to quickly discuss, because I want to make this I want to end this within the next 5 minutes. I only want to make this like a 20-minute video. Was based on the anime inspiration, taking ideas from other things we've seen and implementing them into the show in a way that kind of gives meaning to why everything exists, and not just in the broad sense. Because right now, if you ask someone, why does the CCT exist, it exists so they can communicate international. That's it. That's it. It's freaking boring. It's fucking boring shit. For something that plays such a big role in the world, it's boring as shit. And for this, I don't know if people are going to be very recognized with this. This is going to gaming, not anime. If you know Blizzard, which you most likely have if you've heard of Overwatch, they brought out a game called Starcraft. And trust me, I was in high school when Starcraft 1 and Brood War, the expansion pack, came out. That's how old I am. But look up Starcraft. Starcraft 2 has 3... I got all the legendary sets from that. And the idea of Starcraft hit me, because I'm like, imagine if the Zerg are in Starcraft. They're an alien race. They have a hive mind mentality. Hive mind. Even the Protoss actually do have a hive mind, but it's different. And this sounds weird to you, but if the Zerg and the Grimm are the same, they have this hive mind mentality. Only in Rwby, the hive mind mentality exists in small groups. And the reason I say this is that's the problem for Salem. Is like, Salem started off elemental magic, she got the curse for immortality, and then dunked herself in the Grim pool, and then her magic mutated from elemental to Grim magic, or like Grim mutation type shit, right? So she's gained abilities that oversee the Grim, to a certain degree. Kind of like the Zerg in StarCraft 2, where Kerrigan had psychic capabilities. That's how they justified the hive mindset with psychic capabilities. Salem's big problem, and it could be part of her genius, is that she can't control all the Grimm in the world. She can't influence them all at once. She has to be close to someone, kind of like in Naruto with Pain. Pain has to be close to the other 6 paths of Pain in order to activate them. If he goes too far away, shit doesn't work. And I thought, well, how could you tie that into Rwby, right? That's what you're probably thinking. How does this tie into Rwby? In StarCraft, there's something called psi emitters. They're weapons created by the humans to attract the Zerg. They release psychic emissions. Zerg come to that area. It's kind of like weaponizing the Zerg. What if, over the course of, the thousands of years that Salem and Оспin's reincarnations have been fighting, the relics have been tossed around, stolen back and forth, used by both sides. Neither side has had all 4 relics at the same time. It's never happened up to 80 years ago. And at some point in the past, Salem's had Jinn, activated Jinn, and been like, how can I control all the Grimm on the planet? And Jinn tells her, I'll get to that. Anyway, 80 years ago, Salem, Ospin makes the big breakthrough, gets all the friggin' relics together, asks Jinn, how can we communicate worldwide with my generals who will overlook the other schools? And she says, make the CCT towers. The only downside, if one goes down, they all go down. But other than that, it's a flawless system. And Jinn's neutral. You got to remember that. Jinn's completely fucking neutral. She doesn't give 2 shits about Ospin or Salem either way. So then you got a reason for Salem to want not to destroy the CCT, but kind of take them over. She can technically destroy them and modify them. Salem takes over the CCT towers and uses the CCT towers to amplify her own Grim magic or psychic-like abilities to control the Grim on a global scale, or even just influence them, like command them, like go over here, that type of stuff. that was my idea. That's Starcraft inspiration. Because right now, the Grimm are kind of in a horrible place in Rwby. They're a fucking joke. They're cannon fodder. Salem's a goddamn joke because as far as I think literally Miles and Kerry are sitting there waiting for season 9, 10, and then Salem's actually gonna friggin' do something and they're gonna be like, oh, big plot twist, shock value. They're gonna try and do what Game of Thrones D&D did with season 8 and go, oh, look what we did the last season. It's not gonna friggin' work. Get Salem off her ass. Now, explore at least her goals, her mission, because the biggest problem with Salem at the moment, and I can't figure it out, I literally think Miles and Kerry have screwed themselves writing-wise, because every time I've gone over the Rwby universe, the problem overall, you can't defeat the gods. You can't. The gods are allied again. They're not going to fight each other. They're not going to fall for the same trick twice. And both of them hold dominion over creation and destruction. They can wipe out everything in an instant. And Salem and Osborn are just stupid. Stupid. And Rwby Rwby and her team are so ignorant. It's like, it's not worth it. The gods being in the story actually, I think, wrecked Rwby as a show because there's nothing in the show that can actually combat that level of power. And them bringing something in randomly and just being like, this thing can defeat that thing. Yeah. Anyway, that was just an idea. That was just genuinely an idea that I had, see some more Grimm experiments in the Atlas, maybe see other forms of experiments like aura boosting, dust boosting, the soul transfer, see the experimental side of Atlas. They need to explore the military side. We don't need to know how everything works, but we need to see how a country pretty much run by the military functions properly, because I think like Team Rwby, Crow, all of them, they're not going to get away with the shit that they do in Vale and Anima in Atlas. They're not going to be able to go around and be like, we can do whatever the fuck we want. No, you get put in prison for that in those type of countries, and I'm pretty sure Atlas is under a form of military law right now. So you do what the military tells you to do or you shut the fuck up. So besides that, the Starcraft inspired idea kind of gives meaning to a few things. I think the only expectation that I have, it's May 1920th when I'm making this video. Roosterteeth, Rwby Volume 7 better be at least a third finished by now. I swear, if you haven't finished a third of the show, or at least like completed the genuine concept of the whole season, now you're working through the next stage. If you're telling me the script's not even friggin' ready by May, I swear to God, no person in the fandom, no person at Roosterteeth can turn around and say, you don't understand production. You don't understand fuck off. If they better be doing something by friggin' May. Because hey, there's no Rwby Chibi. You saved your budget there. But one last question as I end this video. Did you ever think that Grey doesn't give a fuck about Rwby in general? Grey is held back by Rwby. Grey's dream is Genlock. The worse that Rwby does, the more funding goes into Genlock because they want to see his product do better. Ever think that a human might sabotage something else in order to get more money to make his dream and vision proceed better? And I know what you're thinking, oh, what type of human would do? That's the business aspect of running a company. It's got nothing to do with love and care.